So I think one of the things that I've noticed with the Lahori talent that they don't confine themselves to inside the box. And so when you're looking to come up with creative solutions, come up with uh, answers, come up with um innovative ways, you know, we found the Lahore-based engineers to be very good at that kind of thing. My name is Bilal Mahmood, and I'm the managing director of Contour Software. Contour is a wholly owned subsidiary of Constellation Software Inc. Contour was set up as is essentially an offshore staff center. It's developed into a global capability center. Um, we now have a secondary mandate where we are also a portfolio company for Constellation, where we are acquiring other software companies. Constellation is essentially a conglomerate of industry specific enterprise software companies. So, what we do globally is we look for and acquire mature stage industry specific enterprise software companies. And all the 1000 plus business units we have globally, they are of that nature. So I was very blessed. I have a very sort of dual sense of belonging to two countries. I was born in Canada, but my father was posted there as a diplomat serving Pakistan. So, um, I was born there, very young age, came back, lived in Karachi, lived in Islamabad, would visit Lahore once or twice a year because we had family here. Um, and I got all of my schooling here, but then I went for university to Canada. So I have my school friends here, I have my university friends there, then I had my work colleagues there. And then what was always in my plan, which was to somehow one day bring something back here and set it up. When I got to do that, I started to be able to bring some of the positives of the work environment of an organization in Canada to what we set up here in Pakistan. So, I mean, our early days in Lahore, it took a little bit of time to amass some very key critical talent. Um, the sort of talent that then we could sort of build on top of. And I mean, they started, as developer or QA and today some of them are development manager, QA manager, director level even. Um, we have entire, success stories. For example, there's a construction management software solution which was built at a third party based in Manila, and the operational cost there started to get too high. And we not only moved that team, built that team here in Lahore, that team resolved two existential crises for that business unit on a technical level, and took that business unit from uh, a position where they were struggling to highly successful. And that business unit's entire operational success story is tied very heavily to their Lahore team. If you go to some of the most iconic museums and cultural institutions of the world, you go to Smithsonian, you go to MoMA, and the cultural collections management software that those organizations, those institutions run on, Khubab and the team here in Lahore over the past 10, 11 years have been maintaining, supporting. So we have so many global systems, local government management systems, in so many different industries. And these people have evolved. They've evolved from just a team member to technical leadership, creative leadership, operational leadership in so many different industry domains. We got the opportunity a couple of years ago. Government chose to hear the voice of industry, and they chose to put together a program which was going to be industry driven. And we had game development companies in here. We had, software services companies. We had product companies, and we all banded together. But it was a big project. It was 4,000 plus graduates that were not industry ready, and we needed to put them through their paces, give them the hands-on capabilities, and it was going to be a mix of graduates with technical degrees as well as graduates with non-technical degrees. So what you really needed was, we needed an environment, we needed the physical infrastructure, we needed to have the right mentors in place. So a lot of that sort of work, the facilities and environment we have here in Contour Lahore, it's unparalleled, and that allowed us to be able to host and facilitate and have that kind of environment that allowed us to be successful with that program, not just as the leader of the consortium, but we ended up actually putting 1,000 of those 4,000 students through the Contour boot camp. We were supposed to do 25, about 15% of it. We ended up having to do 25% of that ourselves. And so the facilities and infrastructure we have here in Lahore, it would have been tough to have that. It is definitely amongst our 3 locations. This is our best infrastructure. And so Lahore has that. So I think it's been a combination of gumption or chutzpah that Lahoris have more of than people of other cities. They have a certain confidence, they have a certain passion. That makes a difference. And we see, definitely when we look at not just the newer stories, but even when we talk about the longer serving tech companies, more of the product IP oriented companies and success stories are Lahore centric. So Autosoft was our first acquisition in Pakistan. So it was Constellation's first acquisition in Pakistan, and it was certainly Contour's first acquisition on behalf of Constellation. But even before Autosoft, the very first company that I actually went to meet with the prospect of potentially acquiring them was also based in Lahore. And from Lahore, there's some 17 or 18 banks in Pakistan whose treasury operations are, automated by Autosoft. There are large as well as small, as well as medium banks of different types and categories that are running on either one or more of our systems. They've been able to penetrate in the Middle East and Africa from Lahore. Autosoft was an example of truly mission-critical enterprise software, competing with world-class global giants, and doing that right out of Lahore. So when we started to have some of our onshore managers visit us, this was 2016 onwards, but especially 2017 onwards, when they started to visit Lahore, that was when really the perception, shift happened. In terms of, they already had some very strong bonds with some of our Lahori talent, but when they started to interact with them more, and then when some of these folks got to go to some of our leadership summits in the US and in Canada and elsewhere, and both sides got to interact more in person, that's when it really started to shift the narrative of what the talent here could actually do. And a number of sort of layers of glass ceiling started to break.